Good evening and welcome to Landmarks in Milwaukee. This show is dedicated to helping you discover interesting locations in the Milwaukee area and aiming to teach you some of their history. I'm your host, Adrienne Hurd. For today's show, let's visit the Schlitz Audobon Center in Bayshore. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. The Nature Center is located on the land that used to be the 9 Mile Farm. It was a pasture for draft horses to rest from pulling beer wagons to and from the Schlitz Brewery, located 9 miles away. In 1971, the property was donated to the National Audubon Society by the late Dorothy Cavalier. It is now used for bird and land conservation and environmental education. Tom Finley is an educator at the center who is willing to meet with us and share some in-depth history about the Audubon Center.
Schlitz Audubon Nature Center came into being in 1971. So in 2021, we're celebrating our 50th year. And we are called Schlitz Audubon Nature Center because of two really important factors coming together. Schlitz comes from the fact that this property was once the 9 Mile Farm from the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company, famous here in Milwaukee. And the family that owned it, the Eline family, that's the Milwaukee Eline with the U, and they owned the property up until the 1970s. And a very important person helped establish Schlitz Audubon. Her name was Dorothy Cavalier. Center. Dorothy is, by birth, one of the Eline granddaughters. And Dorothy had a great love of nature. And when she was seeing that the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company was going to be possibly selling this land, this beautiful 185-acre 9 Mile Farm, she convinced the brewing company's board to donate it, to preserve it in perpetuity. So that was incredibly vital to our existence. Wonderful person that I was lucky enough to meet. She passed several years ago at the age of 103. But this building is named the Dorothy Cavalier Environmental Learning Center, which was opened in 2003. So we really have three overarching themes to our entire operations, and all of those 60 employees help implement those key themes. So first and foremost, especially from my perspective, is education. Education for all. We are extremely proud of the fact that for the last 50 years, we've been able to provide education from the very youngest. Believe it or not, our programs start at age 6 months. So it's usually a parent and child program we call Audubon Babies. And then they go all the way through our trained nature preschool, again opened in 2003, through school age, through adult, and even into the senior years. In fact, one of my most proud achievements here with Schlitz Audubon is working with seniors undergoing cognitive changes, such as Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's disease, and how that they can enjoy that part of their life with experiences in nature, because nature is so restorative for the spirit and has such great emotional quality. One thing that's really neat about Schlitz that I've enjoyed so much from working here the last 20 years is we're really an urban oasis for wildlife. You may not think that you'd see so many things so close to downtown Milwaukee in this major metropolitan area, but you'd be surprised. Here at Schlitz, you'll see white-tailed deer through our woodland areas. There's well-known coyote dens in the region. course, wild turkeys are more abundant than ever. You see some common animals you might see in your parkside areas, such as cottontail rabbits, your backyard birds, gray squirrels and red squirrels, and countless kinds of small mice and other rodents. One of my favorite things to see, especially during the winter, are gorgeous winter ducks, such as golden eyes, down on our beautiful Lake Michigan shoreline. We are along Lake Michigan shoreline, beautiful bluff. It's over 100 feet high, and it's a perfect migratory corridor for birds moving back into Wisconsin after they've enjoyed winter in the warm and sunny south. Warblers abound, as well as a variety of other returning migrant bird species. And so it's a true birding hotspot, which harkens back, of course, to us being an Audubon Center, because Audubon as an organization and John James himself as an individual are so dedicated to the enjoyment, the love, and the education about birds.
The Schlitz Audubon has more to offer and many hidden treasures. If it wasn't for the help from Dorothy Cavalier, the Schlitz Audubon might not be what it is today. Dorothy was the granddaughter of August Eline. She advocated for the Schlitz Foundation to convert the farm into an environmental learning center for the local schools to teach students and help them learn more about nature, animals, and other academic topics. Originally, it was planned to be a men's-only golf course. Dorothy had some incredible help from Charlotte Zeef, Winifred Woodman C., and Monty Messenger. Together, with the help of the local area, the public opinion on the golf course changed to be in favor of the Nature and Education Center. Her conservation impact spread throughout Wisconsin and even further beyond. Throughout the center's 5 decades, countless employees have worked to carry out and continue Dorothy's vision for the center. The center also cares for our other rescued wildlife apart from their birds. They care for and treat many different animals such as snakes, turtles, and even spiders. The trained crew members help care for the animals. They give those who cannot return to the wild a safe and caring lifelong home. Maddie Cislow is one of the many animal ambassadors. They care for the animals and educate visitors about wildlife conservation. Cislow introduces us to some of the animals they have, their stories, and how they came to the center.
My name is Maddie Cislow, and I am a raptor educator at Schlitz Audubon Nature Center. So Schlitz Audubon has over 60 animals in our care. We have 15 birds of prey in our raptor program, and at our actual Nature Center building, we have all sorts of other educational animals, from snakes, turtles, tarantulas, and we even have one flying squirrel that lives with us, and they all serve as educational ambassadors for the community. So Schlitz Audubon acts as a permanent home for the animals that live here. We take in animals that can no longer be released to the wild from wildlife rehabilitation centers in the area. Aside from that, all of our individual animals all have a story that's unique to them. Some of our animals were injured in the wild. Some have lived with people their whole lives, and some were unfortunately taken from the wild and treated as pets by humans. No matter the individual reason, all of the animals do need our help to survive and will always remain with Schlitz Audubon throughout their lives. So all of the animals at Schlitz Audubon serve as educational ambassadors for their species. These animals usually travel all around the state to many different schools and libraries and other events to teach people about animals that live in their state, why they're important, and how they can continue to protect them. Some of the animals that live here are endangered or threatened in Wisconsin, and so those animals are particularly important in getting the public interested in helping their populations, and even just get to knowing the animals that live in their backyards and around their homes. It's really exciting to see, especially children's faces light up when they get to know more about an animal that they might be able to see when they go hiking with their parents. So all of them are especially important, teaching about those animals that are native to Wisconsin. So Eddie is an ornate box turtle, which is a species that's native to Wisconsin, but is unfortunately endangered in the state. So it's incredibly important for him to teach about how people can help turtles in Wisconsin. He is of unknown age. He did come into human care as an adult, but box turtles can live up to 25 years in the wild. And as is the case with many animals in captivity, we can actually extend their lifespans by giving them access to really fresh, safe foods, veterinary care, and things like that. We hope that Eddie could live to be 50 years old in captivity with us. Piglet is an eastern hog-nosed snake, and they are pretty common in Wisconsin, but not a lot of people have ever seen one or know much about them. They do live in prairie areas or areas with sandy soil, which is a lot of the center part of the state. And they tend to be where people are a little less dense. So you don't have many in Milwaukee, but they are a really cool species, particularly because of that upturned nose. Is an adaptation they use for digging and burrowing in those sandy soils. Piglet is a pretty young snake. He came to us just as a small baby snake, about the size of an earthworm a few years ago, and we've had the pleasure of watching him grow ever since. Cutright is an adult male peregrine falcon. This year he is 18 years old. And he lives with us because he has lived around humans all his life. He actually lived with a human during the first 12 years of his life as a falconry bird. So he was trained as a partner in hunting for that person. When he got a little bit old to be doing that and doing those perilous hunts, he moved in with us as an educator for his retirement plan. We hope that he could live to be 25 years old in captivity. Atlas is an adult female red-shouldered hawk, and she is incredibly special because she is the first red-shouldered hawk to live here at Schlitz Audubon Nature Center. And red-shouldered hawks are threatened in the state of Wisconsin, so we want to inspire people to help their populations. She was unfortunately hit by a car when she was a wild bird, and broke some of the bones in her wings, causing her to be unable to fly. So she moved in with us as an adult. We're not quite sure how old she is, but red-shouldered hawks can live between 20 and 25 years in captivity, so we hope that she has a long life left to live with us. Also, it's kind of interesting, but the logo of Schlitz Audubon is designed after an owl that is still alive and lives here with us. His name is Tucker. And our graphic designer here at Schlitz Audubon designed that logo in our rebranding process a few years ago based on him. We do have a team of people here that work with the animals at Schlitz Audubon to train them to be in front of crowds, full of loud noises, young children, and things like that. We do strive to use positive reinforcement training, which means that we only give reinforcements or treats to our animals to reward them. We never punish our animals. With all of our animals here, we strive to use this type of training because it lowers their stress. And as we know, stress can be a really negative thing for health in the long run. So what's incredibly important to us is the behaviors that our animals are showing. All of the staff here are trained to look at those behaviors, and we train our volunteers that work with our animals to be reading those behaviors and only ever ask the animals to do things that they want to do. If the animal tells us they don't want to do something, we don't ask them to do it. With these animals that live here, it can take varying amounts of time. Some of the raptors can take a really long time to be trained to be in front of an audience, as well as our turtles and snakes can need a lot of handling before being able to do so. So there are some ways that you can help out Schlitz Audubon during this tough time, even from home. We do have an Adopt a Bird program, where if you have a favorite bird or a bird that you've seen that you think is absolutely amazing, you can sponsor them through our website and help offset a little bit of the cost of their care throughout the year. And for doing that, you'll actually receive a packet in the mail full of some information and some cool pieces about that bird. As well, during this virtual learning environment, we do have our nature activity boxes that are for sale and include 5 different days of activities that are all about birds. So all of these things are things that you can do through our website and help support the cost of these animals during this difficult time.
It's interesting to see the sizes of Atlas the hawk and Tucker the owl. Animals, like humans, come in many different shapes and sizes and also require special needs when growing. But not only do they have rescued animals, the land also has a wide array of wildlife such as deer, rabbits, and birds of many species within the grounds. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the members are taking extra precautions to keep the animals and the guests as safe as possible. Guests are requested to wear masks while on the grounds and maintain social distancing. If you are interested in learning more about the Schlitz Audubon Center, scheduling a visit, or purchasing a membership, please visit their website at schlittzaudubon.org. If you are interested in something other than nature walks or animal education, the Schlitz Audubon Center offers many different family activities around the property. Cassie Rincon is a family program manager and organizes the Schlitz Audubon Center's public programs. She helps to organize and plan the different activities around the grounds all year long.
Our family programs here at Schlitz Audubon Nature Center are geared towards everyone. So if you have a preschooler or a high school aged child, you come over here and we have some fun science and nature-based activities that you can do. They range from self-guided activities to one-on-one tours with our naturalists and can be about the beach, geology, plants, animals, you name it, we have it here. Some of the programs we have here are when the kids are really little. So we have our Audubon babies, and they go with their parents exploring all the nature. It's just so precious. And then we go up to school-age children. We have very traditional programming that mirror our field trips that we host here. For example, we have a maple sugar time program that's going to happen. So all the kids and adults get to learn about the maple sugaring process. Then we have some for a little more adventurous families, like our geocaching program, where we give the families a GPS unit, some coordinates, and send them on their way. And with all of these types, there is something for everyone to do here. We are not limited, we are very open, and excited to have all families join us. With each of our programs, you get to join one of our naturalists. So there's a whole bunch of us ready to teach you all about nature. Sometimes if you're with the little babies, you get to work with the preschool teachers, and they're absolute joy. With the school age programs, you'll work with myself and other members of my team. The adult programs, you will learn from our senior ecologists. We also have adult programs. So if you want to go learn from Don Quintens, our senior ecologist, he can teach you a whole range of nature activities. We have book club, photo club, even an art club here that you can participate in. And we also have other general kind of hikes that adults can enjoy. But of course, adults can enjoy some of the family programs as well. We cater to all kids of all ages. During this COVID time, If you are not feeling comfortable coming down to the Nature Center, we have plenty of activities hosted on our Facebook, Instagram, and our website. At the very beginning of quarantine, we created a Nature from Home series. So it has scavenger hunts, videos, little crafts that you can do. We also have nature activity boxes that you can purchase and take home, which gives you a whole week worth of activities based around nature. We also have our Raptor Saturdays, which are virtual, so everybody can join in. And we have lots of articles we share and just general information, so everybody is still connected to the Nature Center during this precarious time. Even though COVID-19 has been the thing, here at the Nature Center, we have adjusted how we do our programs so that we are all staying safe. Because we still want people to explore nature. Being outside is such an important aspect, and especially now when not a lot of things are open. So with our programs, we have reduced our program amount. So we'll usually take maybe 3 or 4 families to do one program. Or we completely skewed it where you're doing self-guided activities. So you gather some materials and we send you off so you can be socially distant amongst you and your family. Make sure everyone is wearing masks. We sanitize all of our equipment. We are making sure we are staying aware of all of the possible things that could happen. We are in contact with the North Shore Health Department all the time, making sure we are at capacity, making sure that we are following the guidelines so we can keep us and you all safe while we trudge through this time. We want to make sure everybody still has a fun time and enjoys nature, because this is the time to enjoy it.
The Schlitz Audobon Center in Bayshore offers many different events, activities, educational experiences, and a whole new perspective on nature. It's definitely a place for people of all ages to go and enjoy. Whether you're an Audobon baby or a senior wanting to get out of the house, the Schlitz Audobon is a place to experience. As the weather starts to get warmer, the center will have many more activities and gatherings for you to go out and enjoy. I would like to thank Tom Finley for sharing some of the history about the land, Dorothy Cavalier, the Eline family, and about the history of the Schlitz Audubon Center. Also, thank you to Maddie Cislow for introducing us to some of the animals they care for, along with teaching us some of how they care for them. She shared stories about the raptors, reptiles, and several other living creatures at the center. Thank you to Cassie Rincon for explaining some of the events they host, giving details about the activities for young and old, and also talking about the availability of school field trips. I hope you've learned a little bit more than you already knew about the Schlitz Audubon Center, or have learned about a new site in Milwaukee County. Join us next time for another informative episode of Landmarks of Milwaukee. I'm your host, Adrienne Hurd.
Thank you.